Oh wow, that's super.
Wow. That was my second.
Normally I get a couple of boogers out and some other stuff, man. And you said shit. I ain't know that short.
Hey, we moving up. We gotta get straight. We gotta get straight to the point.
Georgia Weezy in the building.
Right. Welcome to the Fourcast, where we review movies, documentaries, films like you've never seen before in a completely different way, from a perspective of the four of us.
This camera.
Jeez. 3.5.
Yeah, right.
3.8 cats.
Yeah.
3.5.
I'll be partly cloudy.
Yes, but tonight's show is going to be about Dave Chappelle's special, The Closer. So we're going to get into this like the way we talked about everything else. It's not going to be anything different. We're not going to hold back. People may not agree, but this is something that we have to talk about, and we're going to talk about it on the show like we talk about other movies and films. It's not going to be any different. So just want to get that out there first. Second of all, next Monday, we will be launching the BS3 Network Roku channel. Nice. So get your TVs ready, get your popcorn ready, in the words of T.O. Yes. Get your remotes ready, because next Monday you'll be able to watch us on Roku TV. BS3 TV is what the name of the channel is. You'll be able to find that. Not all of it, but 10 episodes of our content. Queen 3 and King will be on there, and we will be hitting the ground running next Monday. So be on the lookout for that. All right, we've been off for what, 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Have it been 2 weeks?
I think it's been 2 weeks.
We only missed 1 week.
Maybe 1 week. It seemed like it's been 2 weeks.
So it's been 2 weeks, but we missed 1 week. Okay, that's what. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go to Doc first, man. You had a great last weekend, also birthday.
Yeah, it's my fault, y'all. That's the reason why we missed. Because I was out birthday celebrating in Boston, Massachusetts. So yeah, it was fantastic, man. I actually got the HRAP experience, right? HRAP, you came to Texas. Matter of fact, let me go back and change my name to Boston King Dog. Because HRAP, I don't even know matter of fact, we were probably on the way home from eating after the airport, and the place that we ate at was real close to the airport. And he was already saying, man, this ain't nothing like I was told it was going to be, or whatever. And so I had the same experience in Boston with regard to the people, man. And again, I came in wearing Cowboys gear off the plane, every day I had on some Cowboys gear, right? And they were as friendly to me as you could possibly be, and in terms of sports, the sports trifecta, happened when I got to see a Stars game at the Bruins at TD Garden, and a Cowboy game at Gillette Stadium against the Patriots. And of course the famed Fenway Park, with the Red Sox against the Astros. So it's fantastic, man. Fantastic.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's really nothing better than that, to be able to go to a city and experience every sport. I mean, like, really, besides basketball, that's the only one he didn't go to. But man, I was happy for you, man. So don't apologize.
Yeah, it was fantastic, man.
All right, H-Rap, how you been?
I've been H-Rap. Back. That's all I've been doing is relaxing this back, man. Getting a little better, man. But I think I've hit the point where it's just, this is what I'm dealing with forever. It's gonna get a little stronger. Like today, I had very little pain until like right. I did the opposite. I usually go to the emergency room. You're about to die, and then when you get to the emergency room, you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm cool." I was the opposite. I got to the physical therapist, and my back started. I was like, what the hell? So it's just something I'm dealing with. Other than that, I can't complain, man.
Good. All right, Wilkes.
Fuzzy, how you doing?
Doing great. I don't know what this camera.
That's changing. Ben, do you have the ability to change your name for it? It changed to Fuzzy. You don't be Mayhem no more.
Out of focus. So yeah, no, everything's all right. Doing good.
There it is. Look at that. It's clear right there.
Yeah, right now.
Opposite of Jay-Z.
Huh?
He the opposite of Jay-Z. Jay-Z used to say, "I'm focused, man."
Yeah. Yes. But no, everything's good. Doing all right. Ready to get back and jump into this. And glad Dog had a good time. Looked like he was living it up.
Oh yeah,
that's good stuff.
I see you had a pre-show hug this.
Yeah. My daughter had to sneak in here real quick,
and I heard you say, "Get out! Don't come back."
Yeah.
Hey, funny. Y'all may not know this, but my daughter comes in every night, and she comes in, and I normally probably go to.
Oh, you go off camera.
Give her a hug, but tonight I did it early because I'm like, this ain't gonna be something you be coming in on.
Let these girls come in there and get their hugs from their daddy. Don't leave that on camera. Let them do that. We need to be sending that message anyway. We ain't trying to be impressive to nobody. Remember, we do these reviews in the way we do them. Hey, this is the Fourcast way. And if daughters need hugs from their dad, now them the snotty nosed little boys, if y'all got any of them, y'all keep their ass out of here. But these little girls, let them come get hugs from their daddies.
Yeah.
So good evening, Ebony. She said, "Good evening, all. Thank you for tuning in." Raider Kev,
all right.
Thank you for tuning in. Raiders got a win this weekend, right? I think you posted that, A-Trap.
Yeah, they've been winning ever since they got rid of.
They got rid of the coach.
It's the email.
Yeah.
All right. So also an announcement: we changed the time effective today. So at 8:30, we'll be going from 8:30 Central until 10. So we'll be keeping into a little bit of a shorter time frame, but also we can hit you hard.
Jokes, then.
Hey, we can hit you hard all the way up until that time because that's what we do here.
Oh yeah.
All right. So Dave Chappelle, the closer, 1 hour special. This is his final. He said this is his final special on this Netflix deal, and this is his final special for a while.
Yeah.
And he came in like he does, just hitting it hard. Before we go into it, initial takes. I'm gonna say before you watched it, and kind of initial take while you were watching it. And I'm gonna go to Wilkes. I'm gonna go to you first.
Well, I'm gonna go back the night. Well, not really the night. The weekend after the election, or the week of the weekend of that election. I told my wife, I was like, David Chappelle is a voice, which maybe that's my fault, but I felt like we needed to hear from David Chappelle at that point because I felt like he wasn't gonna pull any punches. He was gonna tell it like it was or like it is. And I even told her David Chappelle is in a lane right now that I need him to stay in. He is in a lane that is shaking up consciousness. He is in a lane that is shaking up what you thought your senses were telling you, but they're telling you different. So when I watched this, I immediately was excited. I was like, oh, I didn't know he had another special. But no, I was excited for it. And I knew he was going to be on the throttle and he wasn't going to let up. I was even watching the audience is actually what captured me because I wanted to see how the audience was kind of reacting to it. Of course, you're going to have some that don't think it's funny or maybe they're afraid to laugh at the joke or whatever. But no, I thought it was good. I thought he knocked it out of the park. I think he's in that lane that we need right now.
Yeah, I agree. Doc?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Well said, man. And it's a lot of folks that's not gonna like that, Wilkes, but I'm right there with you when you talk about him being the voice. Yeah. And when you said, and see, I'm gonna finish that, the voice of the people, and the people that he the voice of. Yes. That's what's gonna fool you because it ain't just the voice of black people; it's the voice of folks that's got some sense, as far as I'm concerned. Because that's what he's really trying to do is get you to touch that common sense base. That, like, come on, are we really looking at this? Right. That's the voice of the people he is the ones that try to kind of think straight, right? So yeah, I'm right there with you, and it says something about who he is when you want to hear from him on a topic, right? He has transcended comedian status, right?
Oh,
And that's what the greats do, right? You know, you don't remember, or you didn't remember, but you don't necessarily always associate them with how they got started, you know, or what got them to mainstream America. You remember them for the impact that they had on mainstream America. And for me, this demonstrates that completely.
Yeah. Hey, Trump.
Yeah, I mean, to echo what everybody else says, Dave is iconic at this point, and he's an extremely intelligent guy. And as Dolph said, all he's trying to do is get, in my opinion, in our opinion, is trying to get people to stop listening with their emotions and start listening with their ears and their brain. And we've gotten into, I think we've trained a whole generation of people to no longer listen to people. We listen for triggers. This is the confirmation bias generation. So you listen, like if you quote unquote, you black, you're listening for anything that's triggering racially. If you're white, you're listening to anything that's denigrating to white people. If you're Latino, you're listening for those things. So the moment you hear those triggers, damn what you said before those triggers is everything after those triggers and moving forward. And it's become redundant. It has become pointless, and it is tiring.
Yeah.
You know, anytime you got a guy like me who, not that I hate anybody, but when you get tired of people saying, look, because in my opinion, when you start talking about white men, black men right behind that, we next in line to get attacked. See, white men, heterosexual white men, they do this. You know, black men right behind that. So it's triggering to me. So Dave, you know.
And I'll say this. So leading up to it, and thank you, Latanya Childs, for tuning in. She says hello all. Thank you. For me, I was excited because anytime Dave Chappelle comes out with something, it's gonna be better than the last specials, but also it's gonna be, number one, educational. You cannot deny that you don't learn something when you watch a Dave Chappelle special. The other part of it is it's gonna prick you to where you got to really look in the mirror and say, what am I doing? Am I doing this? And so then while I'm watching it, I'm like, he hitting it hard. And my thing, and I'm gonna say this probably multiple times, if you know who Dave Chappelle is, so if you know what he's about to, he's about to hit it hard. Why are you surprised? There was people in the stands, like Wilk said, that looked like, whoa, they didn't want to laugh. And I'm like, you're at a Dave Chappelle comedy show. What do you expect?
Let me say this. So what H-Rap said, right? The first thing that I got was clickbait, right? You know, you're reading the headlines. Right? It's clickbait. You know, and then another thing is that with Dave, he's not even necessarily telling you what he feels about a subject. He's just basically giving you the ways of looking at it. He's not necessarily giving you his opinion on anything. You know, and you know, and one of the things that he said toward the end of this is that he goes, you know, y'all are talking about I hate these LGBT communities. He goes, but if you really pay attention to it, you can see I don't have a problem with the LGBTQ community. I have a problem with white people. You know, of course, the audience started laughing. He goes, but if you're really listening, that's what it is. You know, that's where that's the conclusion you should be drawing. Not that I have a problem with these folks.
Yeah. And so anytime he's on stage, it's not gonna be light. I'm tired of people saying, "Oh, Dave Chappelle said this." Like, what do you expect? Do you expect him to go in there and tell nursery rhyme jokes? Do you expect him to be a church comedian? I mean, like, what are you expecting him to be?
Put Rucker Park, put a picture of us.
The
bangs.
See, and it's like
she done got an income tax check in. She got that hair did. The bangs is back right.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, Rucker.
Park in the building.
Got that singles ministry hair going on.
The singles brunch. She's going to the singles brunch.
She applying pressure out there if y'all don't know.
Stop playing. You better stop playing with her. But yeah, I'm personally, I'm tired of people watching a Dave Chappelle special and being offended. Like, why? Right. Why? What's the point of getting on a soapbox and yelling at a certain group? That's really all you're yelling at.
Yeah, number one, I mean, we're talking about comedians, right? You know, this is a comedy special, you know, and, you know, you want to talk about where, you know, of course, you know, there's this whole making this country great again, right? Okay, well, if the country needs to be made great again, let me point you back to where it became ungreat. And that's when we start being offended by what comedians say. You know, come on, get the hell out of here. You know, if that's your problem, that's your problem.
Kind of like Doc was saying right now, just to kind of stay right there. The comedians were the outlet from the media and the craziness in the newspapers and the BS that was going on in your neighborhood. The comedian, why do you think they had late night shows? Why do you think they had those Johnny Carsons and they had the Arsenio Halls? Yeah. And they had the J-Lo. Like that stuff was supposed to break the tension. Yeah. Because you've already watched enough crap before you go to bed. So you need a little comedy. So David Chappelle, I don't know why people are watching David Chappelle for a feel-good situation. It's not a feel-good situation. It's to make you think. You're gonna laugh at it, but he's trying to get you to look past
he does it in a way. He does it in a way, you know, that's comical, you know, but it's thought-provoking.
Right. Yeah. And I'll say this, I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna disagree with you, actually, Doc, because I think he did share his feelings. Because there was that moment where he said the woman came up to him in the parking lot. There was another moment where he ran into. Now he made it funny, but I think he was in a certain way. He's telling me like I am human. I'm not ashamed to tell you these things. Like it would be different if he just made up some stuff. But I'm gonna tell you, everything he said in this was absolutely true. The situations that he's talking about, if you Google it, it was a situation that went down. So it's not as if, and that's the part with some comedians too, is that they're telling a lie. They're telling some story just to get you laughing. Right. But that's not who Dave Chappelle is.
Yeah, no, I don't mean in this special in general. I just mean, you know, overall, he's not necessarily telling you what he feels about a particular group or whatever. A lot of times he's just trying to make you think about what the group is. Now, when he's forced into a corner like this, he's going to come out and say, well, here's my feelings on it, you know, based on how he tells the story. But I don't think that's what he normally does. He's just trying to be thought-provoking.
Yeah, big shout out to Derek Smith of Man Talk Mondays. They just came on before us. Make sure to check that show out. They'll be coming aboard to Roku very soon as well. When cancel culture goes too far, they picked the right one this time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the thing too is that Dave is not on social media. So you're canceling someone that doesn't even exist on the platforms that you're on. Right. So what exactly are you planning to cancel him about?
Right. If you want to know the answer to that, I'll get to that in a minute. But if you want to go over what we thought about the actual special and stuff like that first, but I can tell you what they're trying to cancel him on. In fact, that's what I was reading. You know, as soon as I got on, that was one of the things I was looking up is what they're actually trying to cancel him
on. Shout out to This Is His Gift. Is that right? What? It's my name, but her name on the other chat rooms is His Gift.
Her name Ben?
No.
You said it's my name.
Hi, my name is. Wow. I'm gonna go ahead and kick this to you.
H-Rap.
Oh. What's the question?
This name. You
this
see
name.
Oh yeah, that's his gift. I thought you asked the question.
No, this one.
No, not this name right here. I think that's Davida. That's what I was.
Oh, that's not that.
You know Davida. Where you see the A at, man?
Diabetes.
You the countryest California dude I know, man. Davida.
I've been here long enough.
My bad. Divette.
Excuse me.
Oh,
wow. Divette. It's actually Divette.
Wow. Just
but I thought I missed the question. I'm like, huh?
Well, I was just kicking one. I was kicking one of the names to you.
Oh yeah,
we gonna laugh.
Ebony.
Tanya, we got y'all. We got y'all.
You didn't get Wanda Hawkins.
Sister, that's actually that's another one of them names right there. You got to put a sister in front of that. Sister Wanda Hawkins.
Oh yeah, she is a civil rights leader.
He enjoys the banana pudding.
Yeah, to hand her the mic for the solo in a minute.
Yeah, she can sing gospel real well.
Yes.
She got the last name for it.
Yep.
All right, so the opening of the special, as we kind of get into this, I love his connection to hip hop. And A-Trap, I'm gonna kick this to you in a minute. He is so connected with it that obviously he's got a rap intro, he's got a rap outro. I'm sure at the show, I don't know if he has a rapper that's there or something, but Mos Def, and I don't really remember the last time.
Probably.
Oh yeah, that was Mos Def kind of rapping at the beginning, but kind of wanted the leading into it. A-Trap, just want to pass that to you for a minute because I know you're a big hip hop.
It's typical Dave Chappelle, and you can tell when Dave Chappelle is gonna make a statement. He had Mos Def or Talib Kweli. Mos Def, Talib Kweli, a Black Thought open it up for him.
Right.
And when you heard, well, for me, when I heard Mos Def, I was like, okay, it's on.
Right. Yeah.
Gloves off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Dave Chappelle. Doc mentioned he's more than a comedian. What I would say Richard Pryor was a funk comedian. And Eddie Murphy was the comedian of the 80s. And Cat Williams and Dave are hip hop comedians. Because that's the culture they grow up in. That's it. Like hip hop in its rawest form is informative, it's fun, it's in your face.
Right. Yeah.
And it's party, it's everything. And that's what Dave is. Dave is in your face. And he gonna tell you something that you may not want to hear. Right. Like people attack hip hop for being misogynistic, but if you don't understand the culture, that's what you take from it. Or if you choose to take it that way, that's what you take from it. But it's also everything else. Like Dave Chappelle talks about a ton of things. Dave Chappelle has this awesome joke for men. It's to uplift the consciousness of men. And while everybody's talking about he's homophobic and misogynistic and things of that nature, it's this joke where he talks about when he was a very young comedian, this big time drug dealer walked up to him, slid him 10 grand. He said, hey man, you're going to be somebody. Here's 10 grand. He put the 10 grand in his backpack and got on the train in New York. He said the whole ride, he was scared that somebody was going to rob him.
That's right.
And then he said, after a while, he said, this must feel, what's what I'm going to be PC because we got ladies in the thing. But he said, this must what it feel like to have a vagina. Of course, he didn't say vagina.
Yeah, right.
He had the other word.
Yeah.
And I was like, ha. And then I was like, damn, that is true. Because women, and then I got a lot of women who are my friends. And they've said things and they've triggered me like, what the hell are you scared of? And then I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah. I've never been it has never even crossed my mind to be scared in that instance. Right. So to walk around with 10 grand on you and assume everybody know you got 10 grand on you as a man, you like, hey man, what the hell you sitting next to me for on the train, all these damn seats?
Yeah.
And as a woman just walking down the street every day, you feel like that. So that's what hip hop is. Hip hop first culture to start talking about anti-drugs. First culture to talk about safe sex. First culture, NOG, be a father to your child. It's always been in your face saying things that you might not want to hear, but for whatever reason, you only hear shoot 'em, murder, death, kill, dope. But hip hop has always been that, and that's what Dave is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And just like what A-Trap was saying, and I've mentioned this to my wife. It's like I see these articles that are trying to cancel Dave Chappelle. They're trying to protest. You missed what he was trying to say or what he did say in the stand-up. Like you completely brushed over what he was saying because you think he attacked your feelings. How are you supposed to be treated in this situation? Like you just brushed all that over. Oh no, I don't care. He attacked my feelings.
Yeah,
I don't care.
And the truth is, if you watch the special, he attacked everybody's feelings. there was nobody off limits. If it was somebody in a wheelchair, he was clowning them. If it was an elderly person, he clowned them too.
If it was an altar boy, he was clowning
the church.
Yeah,
it didn't matter.
Man.
Yeah, that's right. Before I talk about what I thought about the opening, one of the things that I listed in off of what you said, being what he said words like he says niggerish, Asian beat ups, Jews, police, white people, and he kept saying, "I'm going all the way." Feminists, veterans. He talked about everybody. Yes. You know, he didn't just talk about one group of people. He never does. He always spreads the love.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Or as they say, they hate.
Right. Yeah, there you go. But that intro, man, the first thing I noticed was the albums, you know, and I guess the album covers or whatnot, you know. Nice. I thought that was pretty cool. Of course, Mos Def, that, you know, one of the things that I noted about the whole thing in general was Dave's delivery. His delivery is so signature, you know, that, you know, you want to talk about something that cannot be duplicated. And one of the things that's underrated is Dave's branding. And you see the C behind Ben. Dave's branding, and whoever's in charge of that, if that's him, if that's he, we got people. When I say he is on point with that branding, man, he is killing it with that as far as I'm concerned.
And the truth is, if you go back to the Dave Chappelle show, that was in the background. Like, he's had this logo for a while. For some reason, I just did not realize it until until he started doing the specials.
Yeah, he killing it with branding and wardrobe and stuff like that, man.
Yeah.
And the good thing is he got his rights back, so now he owns it.
Yeah. Shout out to TC. Thank you for tuning in. Derek says that's the difference between real hip hop and commercial hip hop. Executives got a hold of it and use it as a way to get money rather than raising the consciousness of blacks. Hit the nail on the head. Chef Fine as Wine. Thank you for tuning in. Got the wine pouring up. Like
he got a cooking channel.
Yeah. He put the emojis look like of the wine glasses, but definitely check out his channel. So, you know, when it comes down to it, going back to what Wilk said, this is needed because what it does is what we're doing right now. It creates a conversation that needs to happen in most instances. And also, there was an article I just seen before we came on where Dave is willing to sit down with the trans community, but he what he said though is, I said what I said, and I'm not budging on that, but I am willing to sit down. So why would somebody that's transphobic sit down with a community that he's afraid of?
Right.
That's my question.
Right.
And see, that's the problem I have with the entire situation. You know, everybody wants to have the conversation, but you only want to have a conversation that you deem important. The conversation we need to really have is this. Okay, let's just take the point of view of the trans community. Dave Chappelle is offensive. Dave Chappelle is anti-us. Dave Chappelle is the reason he adds fuel to the fire for people who are anti-trans. Let's go in that direction. So, and they call for allies. They call for all the allies of the trans community. If you are standing with us, let's get rid of Dave Chappelle. So why wasn't we getting rid of Dave Chappelle when he was laughing at, he had everybody in the country laughing at little girl getting peed on by R. Kelly?
Right.
Where was all the outrage when all the jokes that he was telling on that show, 85% of them were directed at us? Where was the outrage? It was hilarious then, but now that the focus is on somebody else, you can't do that. You can't do that. It's just kind of hypocritical. It's not hypocritical. It's extremely hypocritical.
Yeah, it's not kind of.
Yeah.
Right. It's extremely hypocritical and it's nonsensical.
Yeah.
If you've laughed at somebody, I mean, like 85% of comedy is laughing at somebody.
Right. Sometimes it's the comedian. Sometimes it's somebody else.
Right. It's just, hey, man, it's this thing that me and my guys used to say back when we were in college or high school, when like Doc was bringing up in the pre-show, barbershop, you either talking about sports, politics, or laughing at each other.
Right.
And we used to have this thing called, if you grin, you win. So he's hand Doc up right now. If you let it ain't that funny.
That's right.
So if you laugh at somebody, you can be laughed at.
So check this out, H-Rap. When you were talking, this is the beauty of this show, right? And this show transcends movie review, right? It is a microcosm of relationships in general, right? And I always tell people, kick it with those who bring out something in you, whether it be creativity, whether it be new thought, whether it be whatever the case may be, right? And so one of the things that I thought about in this H-Rap, when I was thinking about that community, the LGBTQ community, the easiest way to acceptance is to show normalcy in having a sense of humor. If you would laugh at this, the world is going to be more likely to accept you than they are when you say, you talking about us. Right? You know, think about somebody who became y'all friend, became your homeboy. When y'all laughing and talking at him, did you really get along with the dude who all got butt hurt because we scoring on you?
Right.
The guy who laughed right along with you and started scoring right back. That's the dude who got welcome into the group.
Yes.
You want to be welcome into society?
Right.
Quit acting like you're all butt hurt on everything else that we all get done to us.
Right.
You know, I don't write a letter every time he say something about niggas.
You know, thank you.
I laugh because it's 9 times out of 10, it's some funny stuff.
Right.
And if we did write a letter, it would be the Bible. We would all have a Bible that we would have written of letters.
Yes.
Right. If we wanted to.
Right.
Let me get to these comments by Mika. Thank you for tuning in. He's killing it on different levels. Y'all asked my brother to take me to a David Chappelle.
We don't know your brother.
Wow.
She said, "That's right, H-Rap. We pick and choose when we want to be outraged, and that
it's
is
called
true.
Episodic diligence, right? You know, it takes an episode for us to get diligent about something.
Yeah.
And generally, that episode's got to have something to do with us that hurt us.
Yeah.
You know, have you protected? Let me put it like this: when I got ready for this today, when I was kind of thinking and getting prepared for the show, and I'm saying this to the LGBTQ community, I'm saying this to the white community, I'm saying this to the Asian community. If you've never defended another minority group, shut the hell up. If you've never defended somebody else, shut your ass up and sit down.
That's like I've always said. It's like somebody had to tell you were offended.
Yeah.
Because any other time you were not offended until they said, hey, you know what? Look at this right here. Oh my gosh, you should be offended by this. And then all of a sudden now you got this uproar all of a sudden. And it's like, but you were okay with this comment over here, but you've got a problem with this comment over here. What? You get to pick and choose when you upset or when you're bothered by something that happened.
And the fact is that the opening of this special, to tell you that this was inclusive and this was about everybody, he says, I had COVID. And then he proceeds to say that I'm the Magic Johnson of Corona. Like,
right.
That's a dig at Magic Johnson.
The HIV community.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And my camera has HIV right now. So, it's cancerous.
Wow.
So, you know.
Yeah.
It's positive, sorry.
But what people in that community and stuff say, they talk about, well, when they start talking about their rights, they'll say, well, what about, civil rights for blacks or for women or for whatever? And they'll try to say, well, I don't want to conflate women's rights and black rights with our rights. I don't want to get them mixed up or confused or whatever. Well, shouldn't it just be civil rights? If you're really talking about rights, shouldn't it just be civil rights, the rights of citizens to political and social freedom and equality, and that's it?
Right.
At the end of the day, but you're trying to you're concerned about not speaking up for us because you're mixing them up. Right. That's a BS answer.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing, dog. People don't realize that the civil is short for civilian, not civil as in acting civil.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe a lot of people think civil rights is to be courteous.
Right.
It is civilians' rights.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're on earth, you have the right to do this.
Right.
Nugget. Message. I need to get a
that was
comment there for a second.
You need to get a what?
I said I need to get this up here real quick. Whenever you come out with something, message.
Can we post H-Rap private chat comments on the real comments?
Don't be offended.
Let me see if I can figure out this screenshot right quick.
We have some people driving the.
I'll drink to that.
And then immediately after that, he kind of tells this joke about aliens, I guess, if you will, that went and then came back, and he was like, I'm going to call it space Jews. And the way he says stuff, man, the way he says it, it's delivery, so stupid. It's so stupid. How can you be mad at that?
Right.
Yeah. You know he's going to say something crazy. Like,
you know he's going to say something. And I want to go back to when we reviewed the one and only Dick Gregory, and it talked about the cigarette being his, his prop. Well, Dave's immediately when he stepped on stage, he used the speaker. He wasn't smoking at all.
Yeah.
But he was he uses the speaker. He uses things, and the way he says it, it's like space Jews. That's stupid, but it was hilarious because he led up to the punchline. Like, he is genius at that. You cannot deny that.
Yeah, the part that made me man, when I say I had to pause it to stop laughing is when he was talking about Mike Pence. And he said Mike Pence is bad gay. He's the kind of gay that he praying to the Lord, please don't let buttholes look good to me. Oh my God. That was hilarious, man.
But this is the question I have. Nobody's upset with the Mike Pence butthole joke. Nobody's upset with the Jew joke. Nobody upset with I got an issue with white people joke. But everybody want to be mad at the trans joke.
Right.
So what about the other? Why the gay? What traditional gay people? Why the glory hole joke ain't offensive?
Right, there you go.
Why is the Mike Pence joke not offensive?
Right.
Why is it space Jews who came back to take over the earth? That sounds offensive.
But you say space Jew, and it's funny as shit to me.
It's funny, but I'm just saying, you don't hear the church that says space stepping out going like. It just takes me to like when comedy was real comedy, like Spaceballs. Remember that movie?
Yeah.
And then my favorite scene in Spaceballs is when they say comb the desert, and then they had some white guys combing the desert, and they had some Mexican guys combing the desert, and then they showed these black dudes with a pick, and they was like, "Man, we ain't found shit." You know?
Oh man!
Black people didn't get mad. That was hilarious.
Right.
Yeah. It's just.
Shout out to John Allen. Thank you for tuning in. He says most pastors lead up to the punchline.
That's right.
That's true.
You're right. You're right.
That's true. Black dude with a pick.
And you think about Richard Pryor, right? Richard Pryor used to kill white folks, man. But you ask the old white guy who his favorite comedian is, and half of them gonna say they're gonna mention Richard Pryor, man. And he used to kill them with that. He was the first one I remember that had white voice. Hey, John, started talking like that. He used to kill white folks. And he used to walk all tight buttons on stage, But you ain't hear no white folks counseling Richard Pryor?
Right.
Big shout out to my guy Mo Cheese. He just got home from serving some time. So big shout out to him in the chat.
This ain't no joke like Big Illinois.
This ain't no joke.
This ain't Big Illinois time.
Nah, we talking about real time.
And we usually say he just got home from college. That's what we say at the barbershop so people don't know.
Yeah.
Well, Ben ain't been in a minute.
Yeah. Obviously.
Is John say y'all scared to laugh? I guess he's talking about the punchline.
No, I'm not.
We know.
Hey, pipe into my crib, John. You see me roll around on the floor.
Yeah. So and then he went to the big black guy, the book that he writing.
Yes.
Called Clifford the Big Black Nigger.
Right, man.
That is, I'm not offended by that. It should be. Let me say this. Right. It should be offensive, but it's not because it's a joke.
Yes.
It's a joke. These are just jokes. some of this stuff has really happened in his life, and most of the stuff is just jokes.
And Hulk, so y'all remember the piece that he talked about? He was talking about the construct of successful people. And he goes, successful people blindly follow. They do what they see other successful people do. And the analogy he gave was the black slave who had gotten his freedom. I can't remember exactly how they said he got his freedom, but he got his freedom, and he was held as a farmhand, right? Like he could work the land like nobody else. And so, of course, the land that he got, because I think this former owner had given him a plot of land, right? So he worked that land. Of course, he had turned out awesome crops, started making a bunch of money, became rich, and then he bought some slaves. And so people were like, how can you who have been a slave and saw that go buy slaves? And he goes, that's the construct of successful people. I hadn't heard anybody on BET say nothing about this. Maybe I missed it, where we are definitely offended by this analogy that you made.
Empires aren't built without enslaving somebody.
I'm gonna help it out then. It's another dude, he's a European black man who came over on a boat and he got land, and he's the reason slavery became permanent. Because he told all his black folks, you can't leave. It was supposed to be a 7-year situation. And he had people there 20, 25 years, and a white man walked up to this brother and said, hey man, what you still here with Anthony Johnson for?
Yeah,
I can't leave.
I was gonna say he was like a pioneer. They were saying he was like the pioneer of like slavery.
He sued the white man for letting the brother know he could get away, and then slavery became permanent.
Yep, Anthony Johnson. That was his name. I wanted to look it up.
Anthony Johnson.
See what his name was. The blackest name on earth, Anthony Johnson.
right. I mean, he couldn't have been more black if he was Tyrone Johnson.
Leroy Johnson.
Bruce Jenner and Cassius Clay analogy. This boy talked about Bruce Jenner. He goes, you want to know what the problem is? He goes, and why women should be offended? Bruce Jenner, when he became Caitlyn Jenner, in his first year, begot Woman of the Year.
Yeah.
After 1 year of being a woman.
Right.
Yeah. Because
tell me what's right about that.
Right.
Exactly.
Don't stop me on that. I've been mad about that, and I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
And I think what ESPN crowned him that, didn't they?
Yeah.
At the ESPYs.
Woman of the Year.
Yeah, it's like it took so much.
You want to talk about a slap in the face to women?
Right.
If the people that should be offended is women, period, because they. My wife says this all the time. Like they are being forgotten. They're being forgotten.
Just Joe comment up there, because that's what he says. It's like Eminem winning best nigga.
Right.
Shout out to D Great. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate that.
Great.
But yeah, women are. I was talking to my one of my best friends. Is like they're in like 4th place at this point. If we honest,
right? Yeah.
I mean, and when you think
they
about
ain't in no place,
right?
Yeah. But the Caitlyn Jenner thing, obviously, I agree with that, because that you've been a woman for 1 year. I don't even know if it was a full year.
Hey man, let me get my soapbox out on that. Man, I gotta
go for it, man.
Listen, man, that thing offends the hell out of me simply because in life you go through developmental stage. You're toddler, adolescent, pubescent, and then you move into adulthood. Now we all have a chaotic period between 12 and about 16, 17. We call it puberty, whereas hormones are shooting through your body. You don't know what the hell going on. You getting erections for no reason. Girls liking us for whatever reason. Now all of a sudden you came to school Monday like my chest, and then Tuesday you like this, and you just get real. It's all confusing, right?
Yeah.
But people, to truly respect the whole get down in regards to women, and why it offends me. Look, if you're gonna be Tyrone the woman, or used to be a woman, hey man, I'm gonna respect your humanity. I'm gonna call you a lady. That's what you're gonna be, right?
Right.
But what is cut off with the LBG, with the trans community, and just trying to shove this woman thing down our throat is it's this second stage that men don't go through that women do. It's like anti-puberty. And then some of what makes them stand out in the world is taken from them, and then they just supposed to just deal with it. Those hormones shooting right back through their body, and then it's an evacuation.
Yeah.
So you ain't going through that, blood.
Yeah.
You are not going through that. So
No pun intended, right? No pun intended, blood.
Right. Yeah, no
It's
pun
deep.
intended.
To that point, I mean,
So I'm gonna need you to relax.
Yeah.
right.
And I'm gonna respect you as a human being. That's your choice. If you identify as a woman, my man,
Yeah.
sister, or
Yeah.
woman, or whatever you want to be called,
Right.
they, whatever pronoun you want to be using, I'm gonna give you that. But don't compare yourself, because as he stated, ain't nothing's gonna be until you get some ovaries and without medical assistance,
Right.
and you go through that menopause thing when it's over, and you're gonna have to be used to be Fred or something. You know what I'm saying? And if you're offended, at @HRap_B on Twitter, I'm with the smoke.
Yeah.
If you don't believe that, ask Spike Lee. He'll tell you he with
Stephen A.
Yeah, he'll tell you this.
I done got to kill a bunch of them guys.
And I'll say this too: all of us have either been we've been married or are currently married, and you know what your wife goes through on a monthly basis. And to just say that I'm gonna automatically become a woman, you are not going through what they go through on a monthly basis, and it's not pretty, it's not cute. It's not cute every single day. That's the truth. So like I respect you too for who you choose to be, but do what you're not gonna do. That's what I'm about to say. What you're not gonna do is force me in a position to accept it and say, well, if you don't feel this way, it's something wrong with you. No, it's not anything wrong with me. I'm gonna respect you, but I'm not gonna just say that I'm all on board or that I'm just gonna ignore how I feel, because we all got feelings.
Right. No, you're right. I mean, it's just like, I don't see any trans going out of the way to, I don't know, look mediocre. You're making yourself appear to be what you think women should look like. I don't see any of them looking average. They're always trying to look attractive and give that deception of like, oh, I've always been a woman. But why can't you just be, just like this is what I'm posing as, because you're posing pretty much. Sorry, Ben. Sorry about that Roku TV promotion. So it's just one of those things where it's like I even kind of just wonder, like, how do women truly feel about this situation? Because you cannot tell me that you're gonna lay down and just take this. Like, there's no way. You don't go through what women go through at all. It's like, but you're giving that, but now you're being deceptive. Now you're being deceiving, because you think, oh, well, all women look like this, voluptuous and long hair and gorgeous and everything's in place. That's not the case. Most women don't even like dressing in dresses. They like to wear pants. They like to dress in sports gear. Like, you're out here posing, something you're not even. Go ahead, H-Rap, but it's just
you know what I think it comes along with privilege. That privilege that everybody don't know, everybody talks about, that nobody wants you to talk about. And I'm gonna talk about it tomorrow. But it comes along with that because if you think about it, most of those trans people that stand it out are trans white men. And that's that white privilege that they carrying on from being a white man. Like you said, I'm gonna be racist. Like when he was finished firing, buddy, he stood down and became a white man again and called the police. White men want to be. You want the privilege of that white. You want that white privilege. Right. You just carried it over to being a white man, and now a white woman. A white woman. But guess what? White women get their draws kicked in their ass too. So if you're going to be a woman, you got to get that education too. You got to get that discrimination. That's part of the woman package. That's part of the deal. You're going to be disrespected. You're going to be paid less. Right. And you don't have a voice in the world.
You don't want to be disrespected, but you finna get this.
Right.
You take it. You trying to suit up. This is what you're trying to take on.
I love it.
Shout out to Rory Bailey. Thank you for tuning in.
Appreciate that. To put in the basically just a sentence as to what y'all just said is as Chappelle says, the human experience is being marginalized. So what women go through, you're marginalizing it with that whole thing.
Yeah. This is John. He's got a couple comments here. I'll read this one. The script lies. You need to stand up. Most people can't stand up for the truth. That's right. And everything else you're saying, I believe in. Yeah. And so, but the thing is, though, what we do on this show is that you gotta have real conversations.
Yeah, go on and put his other comment up there. Yeah, I don't know who this dude. Does anybody know who this guy is?
Put him up there.
Does anybody know who this guy is? Okay.
I don't know.
I don't either. He said the truth.
I don't see his name. He says Facebook user.
We should be talking about scripture. Well, guess what, buddy? Let me just say this. There's a saying out there that sometimes you can be so holy that you are no earthly good. So guess what? We're not going to always talk about scripture. And I promise you, I have a relationship with the one true God. I promise you, and we can talk scriptures all day when it's time to talk scriptures. But right now we are doing what's called practical application. And we talking to real people, and real people don't necessarily know the scripture. Right. So if you want to know, if folks want to know what you know about scripture, first of all, you got to let them know what you know about them. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So that's what we're trying to do. So we shouldn't be talking about scripture because this ain't that platform. Benny Hinn that might be on a TBN somewhere right now. That's where you need to go if you want scripture. We ain't talking about scripture.
Yeah, got the holy
jacket on the west side of Chicago.
And I'll be preaching in January if you want to come listen to that. I'll be preaching at the men's conference in January.
Ain't it mine?
That boy good.
You said I'm talking about propaganda. Propaganda as far as what?
That's good.
All right, so he gets to the point of the baby, and he brings up the baby shot and killed somebody in Walmart. Which, when I looked it up, it was self-defense. Self-defense from what?
Either way,
I can research. He killed a dude in Walmart.
Right.
And he said, "I'm here to negotiate the release of the baby."
Don't abort the baby.
Like the way he goes about it, to me, it's genius, man. There's not. I don't think there's any other.
And you know, it's so disarming. How can people not see it the way it needs to be? He's like, I mean, when you make that point, it's just like Raider Kev says. If he makes that point, and there are still people wanting to argue the point, at that point, they just don't want to see it.
Exactly.
Right? You know, he's saying this dude killed somebody. It didn't kill his career. He said something bad about LGBTQ. It's killing his career.
He didn't, though. He did what you've heard. Everybody, look, y'all don't go to nightclubs. If a lot of us don't go to nightclubs anymore.
Jeez, but you done been to Dallas in the 90s. You done been to Dallas with me. Yeah, you know where I go.
I know where you go.
When I walked in, they screamed my name. Man, what you
Go to my Instagram page. This is a small clip. You'll see. But in the 90s, when you went to the club, all baby said, if you ain't got HIV and you ain't in the parking lot giving fellatio, make some noise. That's all he said.
Right.
And we've heard that in the club several hundred times. I used to hear it at least 3 times a week. In the 90s.
In the 90s.
You know, they elevated to all the chicken heads be quiet, but I remember if you ain't a hoe, you know.
Yeah.
Like, if you're tired, you know.
I didn't
really holler, man.
Yeah, I didn't really know exactly what he said, but yeah, his over the past couple months, his career has been dead. Dead.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, y'all done heard the baby song about the Black Lives Matter movement and stuff like that. Y'all remember that one he first came out with when that all was happening?
Not me.
And at the end of it, we can't breathe. We can't breathe. I mean, that song was banging as far as I'm concerned, you know.
It was. Yeah, I think
I'm just gonna say this, just like Dave Chappelle, right? So he's saying that if you pay close attention, this is not about LGBTQ and my problem with trans people. He goes, I had a special that was coming out. It was getting a documentary that he filmed himself, that he had been invited to all the film festivals out there that are coming up. They've been sending invitations ever since this took place. all of a sudden, all those invitations have been rescinded.
Right.
You know, and he said in this particular article, thank God for, and he mentioned the head guy's name at Netflix, which I forget his name, Ted Sarandos. He says, thank God for him, for he the only one that's not trying to cancel me.
Yeah.
Netflix do.
Yeah, and the Netflix is sticking to their guns because there was supposed to be a walkout. I don't know if there was a walkout or not.
No, there was last Wednesday, right?
The funny thing is, they're working from home, so I guess you just walking out.
Nah, okay, Ben, I'm finna walk out.
That's basically it. Now look, that's Netflix's problem, and obviously they dealt with it because it's still up there. I respect them for that because the easy thing to do would just be to take it down and be done and over with. But they dug in their heels. The CEO or president said I should have been more respectful with the initial comment he had, but he's not taking it down.
Right.
And if you watch it again,
why is it that we always want to take down things that pull the scabs off of things that are not fully healed?
That hurt our feelings.
We want to put Band-Aids and Neosporin on shit that it's like it's not fully healed yet, but you want to chrome over it, or brush over it, and it's like, but it's not done yet. You want to talk around the subject of the topic. No, talk to it because that's the only way you can get it taken care of and get it handled.
I'm not putting that up there.
No.
I don't know who that is. If that's hopefully that's not the same dude. But none of us. None of us said that.
Yeah, you might want to delete that, man. I don't even want to
but you know what?
Yeah,
put it up there. That's his opinion.
No, do it. Put it up there.
That's his opinion.
Put it up there.
BS3 Network.
And that's how you feel. And that's how you feel. That's how
this comment.
That's how you feel.
Anyway, walkout. They just wanted a break. And the comment on Twitter basically said, "Well, I guess it's a whole bunch of openings at Netflix now."
Right. And that's the thing. Everybody who walked out that first day got fired.
Right.
Oh, really?
Didn't know that.
They got fired.
Wow.
I'm finna apply and get me some free Netflix.
I'm walking. We can all get
in. You could have been already having free Netflix. You remember? Every episode, he tell you how to get some free.
Then tell you how to work your number.
You got to have 112 email addresses to get it.
You just delete it after each month. You just change it up. But just put a 1, and you put a 2. And you put a 3.
Wow.
So we already talked about the Pence joke, which look, if Pence has been poked fun at by everybody.
A lot.
By everybody.
That fly got his own doggone Twitter account.
Turn around.
The Mike Pence fly.
He got his own Twitter account.
Man.
Yeah. And then let's bring this point up and let's make this very clear. Chappelle says he's jealous of gay people. He also said he respects them, and the reason being, because they have gotten so much of that we don't have.
Right.
And I told this to my wife, and that's because people in high places are in that lifestyle. That is the answer, right there.
Money in the resources.
They may not be all wide out in the open, but they
Mike Pence gay.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny you mentioned that. It's so funny you mentioned that because there was a movie with Sean Penn called Milk, and that was an openly gay. I guess he was a senator,
mayor or something, right? Mayor of San Francisco or something like that.
How is it now today that no politician comes out, but yet you're trying to make laws to keep people from being who they are? You're going through court systems. You're going through everything in the book. But yet you have Harvey Milk out here at that time just being openly gay and a politician. Yeah. So it's like you're doing all these things to mask it and cover it up. Look, that's your business. That's your thing. But the problem is, don't act like it does not exist.
Right.
The reason you can't come out as a politician and be gay is because then you're going to have to give black folks what they owe.
Right. Exactly. Because here's the crazy thing. And I told my wife this. I say David Chappelle, and I think I told you guys this not last week, but the week before last. David Chappelle is asking a question that I've always been asking. Why is it that when black people try to advance something, the Hispanic community try to advance something, it usually gets barred or blocked, or it gets pushed to the wayside. But the gay community wants to push something, and Ben said it. It's the power in high places. Mm-hmm. If the gay community wants to do something, oh yeah, let's jump right on it. We got it. We got you a commercial next week. Right. It's like, what's going on? I don't understand. And that's like David Chappelle was saying. Stop punching down on my people. Because, and that's what I was talking about H-Rap. Maybe he can talk about that on the show. You got black people that are gay, but yet in two different fronts.
Right. And it seems like they leave our front and go over here.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, but think about this. How many times, though, have you seen politicians who are the most staunch politicians against homosexual activity and all that stuff, and then 90 days later come out and they found out you was in the bathroom stall trying to pick somebody up, right? That story
3 times,
right?
What I'm saying.
Now, have any of y'all ever seen? I'm sure y'all seen Scandal, right? The TV show.
Yeah.
The guy that was the, I think he was the head of the Secretary of State.
Oh, right. He was the chief of staff.
Chief of staff. That guy is Lindsey Graham. That's
wow.
If you think about it and you look at that guy, you go back and watch Scandal and watch Lindsey Graham talk. Look pretty close.
Wow.
Pretty close.
I mean, it's insane, man. Like y'all said, it's always a negotiation, or we should get over it. And then that's the thing that kills me, man. People that I even respect, I've heard them saying, "See, Dave got an issue with this, and Dave got an issue with that." But when I say, "Hey, man, y'all, you wrote in your constitution, it's a contract that this country holds, and you said 40 acres, a mule, and $100, and I'm about 39.9999999 acres away,
short,
and I ain't even got mule hair on my shoes, and I ain't got $100.
Yeah,
right.
So what's up?
Yeah.
Now, when he got to the MLK jokes, which that was
hilarious.
That was hilarious. And again, I put down on my notes, these just jokes, people. It's exaggeration. Right. He is exaggerating at the highest. It's so. It's like watching Step Brothers. It's so stupid, but it's funny.
But nobody's protesting Boondocks, and we know how they push the envelope.
Thank you.
Dr. King on Boondocks said, "Well, you niggas shut up. I took all the ass whoopings. Ain't nobody get mad.
Right. Nobody said anything.
Hell, remember in '88 when Eddie Murphy said, I was walking down the street, right? I'm turning the corner. Somebody punched me in the chest. It was Dr. King. He said, "Oh, I thought you was somebody else." A non-violent dude punched you in the chest.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And that's one of the lines that people say all the time. That people say, "Oh, just Joe."
Joe.
Nobody talking about Family Guy. I'll say this: when Family Guy touched on Muslims, they immediately removed that stuff. They will not touch that religion. But everything else is off.
There you go.
Family Guy.
Right.
Everything else.
Hey, Bill Maher found out the hard way. Don't do those jokes.
Right. That's what I'm
saying. Watch
saying.
this movie called Religious. He cracked on every religion. And he cracked on a group of Muslims over there in the Middle East, and they pulled out them AK-47s. They went cut.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Charlie.
Right now. We're not doing that. And then I think one of the funniest parts of the special is when he said the lady came up to them and she was saying all H words. Hi. It's like, oh. Man. But you can't tell me that you can't relate to that, especially during this past year and a half. You've been somewhere and somebody sneezed and don't cover their mouth. You don't look at them sideways like nasty.
Yeah.
No, you
Sneeze in
subject
the
to
crowd.
no,
You
it's
get put like
probably
Lysol.
it's subject to be blows thrown if somebody sneezes in public and not cover up right now. That is
Yeah, you might get
it's gonna be something break
That's-
out. That ain't
and
that
I'm gonna
ain't-
help whoop you.
Yeah, they're not just looking at you.
That's equivalent to somebody talking and coughing in your face.
Mm. Yeah,
So
I see people now when they're about to sneeze, they almost break something trying to cover up, man, because they know, you know, I can't let this out, you know.
Yeah. And he talks about the bar in Austin story, which was real. It was a real thing that happened.
Yep.
You can look up the story, and it was definitely an altercation. But what I want us to talk about is this other comment he made, which you're gay until you have to be white and call the police.
Right.
Yeah, somebody kind of mentioned that when they were talking a little bit about, you know, moving from white guy to transgender to whatever the need is at the point in time. But to me, it's self-explanatory.
Right.
You know, it's self-explanatory.
Right.
You're gonna be barbecue.
Whatever's convenient.
Well, you'll be barbecue Becky picking up the phone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. People, it's easy. You know, just like I bet, like Rachel Dolezal. I identify as black. Well, make sure you let the police know that.
Right. No
They
shit.
kick your drawers in your ass too.
Exactly.
They choke your ass out of the ground.
He said, kick in your ass.
This is a touchy subject for me, man, because it's like, man, it's tough being us, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you see
I thought
everybody,
it's funny.
everybody making advances,
Yeah.
and then they treat us like when I hear people tell black people, "Hey, man, y'all need to just look past that." That's literally, you know what I really hear? I hear a woman saying, "I got raped," and the dude going, "Gotta go ahead and set it out at some point."
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like what?
No, that's kind of like a comment I saw on Instagram a few weeks ago where it was saying they want our rhythm, but they don't want our blues.
That's right.
I posted that.
saw on
Oh, you
Facebook.
posted- okay, I was like, I see.
Yeah, they got some shirts, t-shirts out like that. Yeah,
They love our rhythm and hate our blues.
right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then walk around with Wu-Tang shirts on, like you understand that movie. But we ain't gonna talk about
Wu-Tang
that.
in Georgia.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
Yeah, you misspelled Tang, motherfucker.
It's not the orange powdery drink.
Right.
These signing up for these ass whoopers don't sign up for nothing.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mobb Deep said it ain't no such thing as halfway crooks.
Yeah.
You in or you not?
In or not, yeah. So then when he was in the bar and he came with this joke, which was hilarious too, he said, "I tenderized them titties like chicken cutlets."
I
was like, man, it's
It's some classicals, man.
These was just some classic one-liners that I just had to write down. All right, so let's go to. He talks about the feminist movement, talking about the Me Too. He brings up Sojourner Truth and Susan B. Anthony and talks. She ain't I a woman, which I mean, like that's
Right.
that stuff has. If that stuff don't hit you, like then you're not involved.
You don't want it. You don't want it.
Oh, you're a woman, but you're not the right color though.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty
Like I
much.
said, man, you know, it's just like I remember recently I stopped seeing a woman. Well, she stopped seeing me actually. Like it was like early last year, you know, right before this COVID thing, or maybe like COVID thing. And she was like, we was talking, and she was like, you know, blah blah blah. I'm a feminist, and I was like, yeah. Well, where was your feminist sisters at when Trayvon Martin died and Tamir Rice died? Where was they at?
Right.
They, you know, black women is mamas too.
Right.
You know, so if you in a gang, it's the whole gang. It ain't just this gang.
Yeah.
Well, hey, our sons don't get killed because, hey, I remember when in around 88, 89, when my Mothers Against Drunk Driving, they was recruiting everybody. It wasn't don't drink and drive if you white.
That's 100%.
Yep.
Right. Yes.
So you get 12-year-old shot talking about I thought he was a man. What kind? What you thought he was an elf?
Right. Right.
You know, no,
they're little people. You got to say little people.
No, Elvis.
Say it right.
Midgets.
You sure it was yesterday?
That's the word you can't say.
It was yesterday. We're not sure if they done changed
today.
Yeah, and Zimmerman's still walking around today.
Right.
Like nothing ever happened.
And that dude who killed Mike Brown, probably a cop again. He probably a detective or something.
Right.
Probably in Florida.
Quite.
So the Florida governor, hey, you got anything going on? Come on down here to Florida.
Yeah. Blue Lives Matter till they killed a cop.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what I said. We get, once again, as a society, we get to pick and choose what offends us.
Now, one thing I kind of brought up earlier is that he is a preacher. Why he's on stage? A preacher, a teacher, a comedian, all wrapped in one. Because you learn stuff. If you didn't learn anything, I mean, you're getting something, it's a refresher for you. And it's stuff that he's saying, oh, I learned this. Like, I looked up what a feminist is. Like, he's not just, right. It's different when you just get on stage and you just telling jokes and you get a good laugh, right. But his specials will leave something with you. That's the difference between him and other comedians. Mm-hmm. And that's what I got from this.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why he said, he did say, as you mentioned, being in that article, that he's willing to sit down with the LGBT community, and specifically those at Netflix. He goes, I'll sit down with y'all, but he had a list of things that needed to take place, and one of them was you can't come to the meeting if you have not watched that special from start to finish.
Right.
If you hadn't watched it, you can't come. Because he knows once you watch it, that's going to change your whole demeanor. That's going to change your whole perspective if you're watching it in good faith.
Right.
Yeah. Because if you don't laugh at all, like that, and there was people in the audience, like Will said, there was people in the audience, specifically two, I think white women were down low.
They were gay.
And they said, I got you.
They look gay.
They were saying they laughed.
They look gay. Say it.
They laughed at the beginning.
Right.
And then there was at some point when they pan the camera over, they just look like this ain't funny no more.
They was the frumpy dykes he was talking about.
Right. They were the feminists he was talking about. Which I have to say, I was ignorant on the term too, because I thought maybe butch or whatever, strap on wear, whatever it was. But my point is, I'm just saying, what? What happened? I'm just saying. I mean, I'm thinking more feminist. You know,
I immediately thought about Rosie
mayhem is mayhem tonight, eh?
Wow. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know. I'm not watching the L word on the low. I don't know.
I immediately thought about Rosie O'Donnell when you talk about feminists.
There we go. You know,
and he even said, "Here's the other part, which we can touch on this." He talks to people. So before he did something, he called a woman and said, "Hey, you want to go to this rally?" He was like, "No, I ain't going there."
Right.
I mean, like, so it's different when somebody just does something,
right,
and then they just talk about it afterwards. But he talks through the process, through his thoughts, and he's willing to sit down and talk with people. Why would somebody be transphobic if they're willing to sit down and talk with the people that walked out?
Right.
Or logged off, I should say.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, in fact, the definite, when he talked about feminism, he said, the feminism is just simply the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of equality of the sexes. He goes, so based on that definition, I'm a feminist.
Yeah. And most of the times, similar to him and Chris Rock, these guys come up with the best ideas. Nobody does it. But what he said about the movement, we just all gonna come together and we could be dressed up and we all gonna wear the same thing. It was like you should have went in that room and found a woman that was busting her behind and said, "You got to talk to her."
Right?
Did they do that? No.
Right.
And he said, "Well, you need and then, like he does best, you need me as a leader."
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Man.
But I mean,
but again, it goes back to what we've been saying all night. It's easy to say you down until you have to be down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's easy to
Wow.
throw a punch in the back of the fight, start the fight.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, like, okay, I hate to indict all white women, but they indicted themselves. The number of white women that voted for Donald Trump went up. So don't talk to me about being offended and being a feminist. When you support a dude who clearly said, grab by the pussy.
That's right.
Right.
Like when I started my show last week, YouTube immediately took it down. I had to restart my show, but it was this dude on the Daily Show, and he going around, and it was a dude said, so Donald Trump's still the president. He said, yeah, he's still running everything. He said, he's running the military too. So he was like, so it's safe to say it's his fault what happened in Afghanistan. Oh,
right.
No.
You talking about Jordan Klepper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That dude, that dude is hilarious. The stuff that he catches people in
Right.
is beyond stupid. You can't even think it's real.
That's what I'm saying. People want to be offended when they feel like it's comfortable. When you, matter of fact, there was somebody I was hearing on. I still have Sirius XM in my other car, and there was a comment on the weekend where the guy said, "It's until you make it personal and direct, they want to start backpedaling and dodging. Why can't it just be a clear-cut conversation?" Yeah. But yet, when I ask you a straight answer, a straight question, oh no, he wasn't involved in that. I don't know anything. Wait a minute. But you were all gung ho about this part of the conversation. Yeah. But until I made it direct and personal, now you want to backpedal. You're not ready for that. Yeah, I don't understand why we get to pick and choose. Like you know, and I've always said this: listen, even if it hurts, because if you listen and make it through to the other side, you might come together with a collective understanding.
Right.
Yeah, an affront to justice anywhere should be an justice to front everywhere.
Right.
An affront to justice everywhere, for sure.
Right. And he said, I agree. He agrees with the women that they're not being treated fairly, just not the way that they went about it.
Right.
And did they? I guess my question.
Okay. Like, and people got to understand that's fine too. Hey, I like your message. I just don't like the way you're going about it.
Yeah.
Oprah is proof positive of what he's saying. You tried to help bury Michael Jackson, and you helped bury R. Kelly, and you friends with the dude who's on his way to jail to doing the same thing. And you never mentioned him.
Yeah. It's like
Harvey.
It's like, I had these intentions, but I took down this whole nation with me at the same time.
Yeah.
Like what?
This guy.
Yeah. The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Me and Wilkes was.
Trust me, I'm on my way. No,
it's all right. I'm already there.
Me and Wilkes was talking about this, about the Weinstein. The dude was walking all normal, like 24 hours ago. Yeah. And he coming into court with a walker. Like,
like what happened?
You got hit by a car in the last 24 hours?
Right.
You all of a sudden need a walker. Okay.
Yeah, you don't want pedophile dude on Family Guy.
Oh, Family Guy, yeah.
Yeah, yes, that dude.
Wow.
He's just a straight rapist.
Right.
Yeah. So bringing up this point, he talked about everybody in this kind of next, 30 minutes or so. He talked about poor whites. He talked about 1980s gay face. And then he talked about Jussie Smollett's bodyguards.
Right.
I mean, like it wasn't. Right. That's the part where you need to watch the entire thing.
Yes.
Watch the entire thing. The thing is hilarious. And he's going after everybody. So if there's one part that you're like, oh, that offended me, it's gonna be another part where you're like, that's funny as hell.
Right. This man had a book on just the past few months, the year. I mean, everything, a checklist of what I need to put into this stand-up is pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. He is one of those comedians that comes in with a mission.
Right.
And that mission is to honestly, like we kind of talked about earlier, is really to make all of us look at ourselves.
Yeah. And that's and Ben right there. What Ben said, it's like that's the problem. We don't want to look at ourselves. We don't want to look at us. We don't want to see this thing that we have created because underneath we may find some truth to, you know what? I've been blind this whole time, or I've made this image of, like, oh, I built this image. This is what I'm trying to project to people, but that's not the true self.
Yeah.
And it never will be.
Right.
Yeah, the first time the Elephant Man saw himself in the mirror, it wasn't pretty.
Yeah. You got to
The emperor has no clothes.
I am not an animal.
Come on, man.
But you know what, Ben? You just asked people that what you just touched on it's literally the actual problem in a nutshell. Listening. Everybody talks.
Right.
Most people don't listen, or they listen to respond. They waiting on a trigger. Like if you're black, you waiting on they, or you know how, you know what
you people.
Yeah, what you mean?
You listening for those kinds of things. When you're gay or LGBTQ, it seems actually when you trans, because I don't hear no LGBTQ people speaking.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, the LBQ people speaking out. It's a trans, and when you white, you waiting on somebody to say everybody need to be equal or whatever the triggers them.
Right.
Yeah,
So it's just people don't listen. People listen for trick. They listen for confirmation bias. Right. So as soon as they get that bias, told you.
Yeah.
People
not
were
even having
waiting,
a conversation anymore.
People were waiting for the headlines. They were waiting for the headlines, and as soon as they came out, we're like, "See, I told you." That's what he does.
Yeah,
that's what that one does.
Yeah, I have literally called people out on Facebook. Friends of mine who have posted articles. Who I didn't know whether what the article they posted was true or not, but they posted the article. I'm like, that's interesting. I clicked on the article and I actually read it. And I saw that what they commented about the article was completely false. And I go back and I'm like, did you actually read this before you posted it? They didn't. Right. They just read the headlines and they shared it and said, okay, this going to give me some likes. I'm like, you didn't read this. Number one, this article was 10 years ago. Number one.
And Bobby Brown is alive.
Number two, that's not what they're saying.
Right. Clickbait.
There's a lot of those. There's a lot of those, and this is another one of them things we used to laugh at work, is that there would be something like Junkyard Dog just died. It'd be like Junkyard Dog died 5 years ago. What you talking about? Like Michael Jackson just died.
Yeah.
He died 10 years ago.
Right. Somebody posted Sherman Hemsley died about 7 months ago. I was like, yeah, about 15 years ago.
Yeah, his last appearance on Fresh Prince. Yeah. Oh, yeah, sure.
It's like Dumb and Dumber when he was walking out that bar. He goes, "We just landed on the moon."
Buddy, a few years late, 2 decades.
Yeah.
Man. Oh,
all right, so we stopping at an earlier time at 10, but I did want to touch on, he spent the last, I don't know, what would you say, 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes talking about Daphne Dorman.
Yeah, about 10 minutes.
And he was straight up honest. He said we talked and she bombed her set. I mean, he was honest, but he is going to be honest.
Right.
There's not going to be any, I didn't know if he was honest. No. You don't have to worry. That's just one of these people you don't have to worry about were they honest or not. But he spent the last 10 to 15 minutes talking about his relationship with this trans woman,
right? And
talked about his kids, set up a trust fund for Daphne's daughter, and then so I mean, like when you spend that much time to talk about something, obviously you didn't just say on a whim, I'm gonna add this in on the end just because. Like you thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How would somebody be transphobic if you thought about that?
Hey, you did that. You got to marry Jay over there. Was that you, Ben?
That was me, no.
I know.
I was trying to close something that popped up.
He This
Shout out
was
to
some
Mary
Mary J.
Yeah.
So what was you guys' thoughts on that kind of way, the way he ended it with the Daphne Dorman and
I think well, to me, I think it brought it full circle. I think it was one of those things where when who knows, and this article might have been set up to be clickbait. Oh gosh, it may have been set up to be clickbait. But as soon as and I told my wife this, I was like, as soon as even before I finished it, there was already an article in there that was saying, trans whatever speaking out. I'm like, did you miss the point? Because when I watched the entire stand-up, I'm like, then I'm thinking about that article. I'm like, okay, is this article just set up to be a roadblock? Because this person is not, you can't tell me this person is deliberately missing the message of this entire stand-up. But then again, there's the other part of me that says, yeah, people will be conscientious stupidity on purpose to get them into the limelight or into a book that they wrote. Now, next thing you know, they're getting interviewed. Oh, how did David Chappelle affect your life directly? Bullshit. Like, stop. It's one of those things where it's like you deliberately set up here and wanted to miss the point of this stand-up on purpose.
I'm starting to think Netflix put that article out there so everybody will watch.
They probably. I was marketing. I wouldn't doubt it. Because matter of fact, I think that trans person was a part of Netflix. I think she worked in it, or whatever the thing is. But my point is,
man.
Yeah, it was like one of those things where it's like you just whatever it is. I don't know. Alf, whatever you want to call it. It's just it's one of those moments where it's just like it was full circle for me, and I think it was just one of those things where because even when I watched it, I was like, oh well, he kind of had some questions that I kind of had, but I thought it was pretty good. I thought that last part of it was pretty important.
But no, so part of his at the end he talked about empathy, and he goes, empathy is not gay, empathy is not black, empathy is bisexual, and it must go both ways.
Right.
And I mean, that line was so poignant, man, that if you got half a heart, man, you can't hear that and not get right. It's not possible.
Yeah.
If you can't get right, you can.
Hey, Trap.
I mean, it was powerful, man, and to me, it was told a story of. I know the pundits are gonna say, "Well, that's just like saying I got a black friend," but no, he didn't highlight the fact that person was trans. He just showed, "Hey, man, this is what people go through." And what was super dope was, to me, he showed them, "Hey, y'all killed your own."
Right.
That's right.
Right. But nobody's protesting that though.
That's right.
Nobody's canceling that though.
Wow.
That's right.
I didn't think about that.
That's right.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. After because that was toward the end of the special, of course, and I wrote a couple of notes, and one of them was I just wrote goat shit, and that's when I posted on Facebook. I'm like, Dave Chappelle is the goat. Period. Yeah, I'm a Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, them my boys, Lavelle Crawford, Earthquake, I'm a fan of some folks,
Yeah.
But Dave Chappelle, man, and literally, I kid you not, I was literally in tears at the end of this thing, and not tears from laughing hard. I was in tears because of the sad state of the situation, and the fact that he's having to go through these links to just simply explain to you what needs to be done. It's sad, man. That folks are just not taking the time to figure out exactly what's going on. They have their own agenda, and that's the only one they care about.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
That's right.
That's it. All right. So Dave Chappelle's last special, he said for a while, and he ended this I'm assuming probably the contract with Netflix with a bang. He killed it. He absolutely killed it. Raider Cab, I love the special. Can't wait for the next one.
Yeah,
You already know.
Gonna get one.
You already know they finna throw a truckload at this dude.
I hope so, man.
They finna throw a truckload at this dude.
And if Netflix don't, if I'm Amazon Video, I'm trying to.
Yeah.
And if they not, if I'm Hulu, I'm trying to. Somebody, if they got any sense.
Don't go to Amazon because Amazon sucks.
Yeah, I hear. Come on with it, A-Trap. I see where you're going.
Dave Chappelle might be the first dude to miss out on some money and make it up.
There you go.
Exactly.
Well, he already did.
Yeah,
He's made it. He's made his money back.
Oh yeah.
Make it up. Like I miss. Like if you're a football player, if you miss a season, then you got to build it back up to get there. Or athlete, you got to build it back up. You say you got to build it back up.
They finna throw the treasury. If he's gone for 6-7 years, they finna throw the treasury at this dude.
Michael Vick is the only player to get $200 million contracts
deals.
And
here's the question for everybody on the panel and everybody who's watching. Dave Chappelle, we love Richard Pryor, we love Eddie and the rest of these guys, but Richard and Bill spawned a bunch of other people. Richard created what's his name? The Latino brother, low down dirty dog dude. He what's his name? I can't think his name, but this dude who his wife gave up the kidney and he cheated on her. What's his name?
Oh gosh.
You talking about Mencia?
He older. He had a TV show.
Oh, Lopez.
George Lopez.
Richard
gave us George Lopez and George Carlin and and Eddie and a bunch of others.
Yeah.
Who is Dave gonna give us?
Right. Right.
Ooh.
That's the question of the decade because all these comedians, DL Hughley is. I don't know. If you're not a Richard Pryor fanatic like me, you don't know like 80% of DL Hughley act is Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
But it's comedians that they don't openly do it. They reword Richard Pryor jokes all the time.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be the popular? What are it's a 15-year-old boy and a girl.
That's right.
That's going. I'm gonna be the next Chappelle.
Right.
That's a great question.
Yeah, no, and it's needed. It's needed because, like I said, I honestly see. I mean, I think he's going to be away for. In my head, I would think if this is it, he's going to be gone 6, 7, whatever. He'll be around. He'll be at some concerts or something like that. But a special to come back to do another, they finna throw the treasury at this dude. But in between, like H-Rap said, who is going to take up the mantle now and run with it?
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna be gone. I give him 18 months.
Oh, you think that's it? So he did how many? He did 5. He did 5.
Like he'd be going longer than that, I guess.
I think the reason I don't think so because him and Mos Def have a podcast, so they talking every week.
I did not know that.
And it's only gonna be so long before that it builds up.
Right. It's like the Jay-Z Black album. I'm backing out of it, but then.
You get that itch or something happens.
Yeah.
Did y'all peep the Gloria Gaynor "I Will Survive" ending to this thing?
Yes.
And the sarcasm that is dripping with.
Right. Oh, all of it.
Okay.
Well, I didn't get the sarcasm.
The end of it.
Yeah. That's like the gay anthem.
That's the gay anthem.
Oh, okay.
The gay anthem, and I'm gonna take your anthem, and then I'm gonna survive on your anthem.
My God, the multifaceted message that was.
This y'all for 18 months.
Right.
When you do a Netflix special, you can't use those jokes for 18 months.
I'm telling you.
You can't go on the road and use any of that material.
Right.
Oh,
right.
Really?
It's just like Robin Williams. Disney does not own the rights to the genie's voice because Robin Williams put it in the contract. So they can't recreate Robin Williams' voice for the genie. Wow. So if Dave Chappelle owns his right, Netflix says, "Oh, you can't do these jokes. You can't recreate these. You're gonna have to come back and do something fresh." That's how it is. HBO gonna throw money at him. Showtime gonna throw money at him. Yeah. It's gonna happen.
And he did a pic collage at the end.
Yes,
You
I
know, the
love
pictures,
that.
and he
Yeah.
threw the little bounce pass at the end to
Right.
Norm Macdonald, who just recently
Oh,
passed away.
Yeah, man.
Man, again, dude, for anybody, and he even mentioned this in his special. He said, you know, he talked about the tribe, you know, and he goes, and my tribe isn't black, and my tribe isn't men, and my tribe isn't straight people. My tribe are comedians. He goes, that's my tribe, you know, when you get right down to it, you know, and again, that pick collage supported
Oh,
that.
that was huge.
I love that, man. I love that.
I mean, it was some great people in that collage at the end.
Yeah, it was.
There's some legends in there.
From everybody.
And if anybody in there was controversial, you're sitting next to Bill Burr. Really? You got Bill Burr in there?
Yeah.
Seriously? The atheist?
Yeah, Norm Macdonald wasn't no
Norm Macdonald wasn't no slouch.
Bill Burr.
Bill Burr? Yeah.
Yeah.
Burr. Like, really? Like, come on, man.
And that, I mean, that's what comedy used to be about.
He was
used to
just
be
missing George
talking.
Carlin in that pick. That's all he was missing. I mean, Sam
before we
Kinison.
bring up that point, Wilkes, you mentioned about George Carlin. We talked.
Oh no, I was saying, like, you know, it's amazing how people will quote George Carlin, and I mean, he had stand up before it. Seinfeld was not the first person to have stand up at the beginning of his show. George Carlin did that, but as much as he would talk about politicians and preachers, nobody was trying to cancel him then. It was like, oh, we got to get the next George. It was just like Richard Pryor. We got to go out and get that man out. We got to go out and get George. George Carlin is probably still noted as one of the greatest to disrupt the structure, the power structure.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to protest that and burn albums. You know, it's like George Carlin was big for that.
George Carlin is exactly what Dave Chappelle needed.
Exactly.
Because George Carlin will tear their asses up.
Oh, with no pride, and not blink.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, I don't know, on a lesser scale, did y'all ever pay attention to Ralphie May? The heavy white dude, he didn't pull no punches.
Ralphie May didn't pull no punches.
He talked about everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
And
But I guess it sting a little less if you're a 500-pound white dude.
Right. And don't get me started on Sam Kinison. He was a preacher. You know, Sam Kinison will go in with no problem.
Sam Kinison didn't play no game.
No games. Like,
and that's, I mean, we live in a world where you can't be honest anymore.
Well,
what about that? That didn't make me feel good. Well, you need to feel on yourself a little more.
When you was a kid, your parents should have told you that it's not always gonna feel good. It's not always. I tell my daughter this all the time. It's not always gonna be. It's not always gonna be somebody you're gonna like. It's not always gonna be somebody. Not always gonna be your friend. There's gonna be people that's gonna be mean. Like, and I think a bigger picture. This goes back to how you were raised and what your parents instilled in you.
That's right.
It's not always gonna be about you.
Everybody don't get no trophy.
Be about you. Right.
Everybody don't get no trophy.
The first place, first, second, and third. Everybody else, you don't get nothing. You go on the crowd. That's it.
And you will get cut if you're not good enough.
Exactly.
If you lose, you just lose.
And your parents would say, come back better next year. Work hard enough.
Yeah.
So they need to be better next year.
Yeah. If my kids play,
not boycott the teams.
When my kids play sports, if they got smoked down on the field, I'm like, "Ooh, they kicked y'all ass today." You know, and that made them not want to hear that from me. So the next time they got on the field, they put in more work. They're like, I don't want to hear my daddy talking trash about that other team whooping.
Like Dave Chappelle said in the last stand-up, look, just gonna be honest with you, you're probably gonna get shot. Okay, doesn't matter. You're not gonna make it out alive. So yeah, good luck. All right. So yeah,
I used to boo my daughter. It was our thing though. I would just show up if they'd be winning by 10. I'd be like, boo.
I tell my son all the time. I tell my son he's a bum all the time. So I mean, it's okay.
You need that tough love for the world because the world ain't nice. The world ain't gonna be trying to give you hugs and flowers and kisses all the time.
Trying to give you STDs and COVID.
Man,
it's a reason why when I got to basic training and the first time the drill sergeant got in my face yelling and going on, I started laughing. And I'm like, you must don't know who my mama is. I'm
Man,
like, what you doing? You know,
Man.
and he figured out real soon, okay, this ain't gonna shake him, you know.
Right.
And then he just told me, don't be laughing when I'm yelling at the other dudes. He said, you can't be laughing when I'm yelling at them because I would make him laugh because I knew what the game was, you know, like you just trying to shake me, you know.
Boy, have you heard my angry black mama?
Yeah.
That's why we right here, dog.
Yeah, my daughter told the same story. She goes, my bosses and stuff like that. Sometimes I'll just be looking at them like, you don't know who my daddy was.
Man,
you can't shake me.
Right.
This department manager named Mike Miller. He was like, man, you the only person I'll make mad. And before I knew it, I said, man, you're a punk compared to my mama. I said, oh, my bad.
Yeah, you don't know who my mama was.
Please.
That's real.
That's like, you can't even
let's mic this thing up, man. What we got?
Yeah. Let's go.
It's 6 mics.
That's off the scale.
Yeah,
that's the first.
Yeah, it's 6 mics.
That's the first. That's the first six micer. Right.
It's a killer, is what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think does anybody not have it at least 5 mics.
Right.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm mad at Wills for only getting it 6.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
This is a classic.
I didn't want to go too crazy.
This is a classic.
My last note was effing brilliant. That was my last note on my page.
Mic drop, just like he did at the end. It's a mic drop.
When you think about baseball, you talk about the walk-off. This was a walk-off.
Yeah.
This was a bat flip and a walk-off, and he just walked around the bases slowly.
Yeah. That was a mic flip of all mic drops of all mic drops, man.
Yes. Definitely.
All right. So Dave Chappelle's The Closer. If you have not watched it in its entirety, first of all, where have you been? Second of all, you must do it. You got to do it.
Don't miss the point.
I'm surprised it's down to number 10 on Netflix top 10. It's at 10.
You know why?
Yeah, at 10. They had to put it at 10 so they would.
You know why?
Yeah, on the list.
We know why.
See, people getting sick of it.
Right. We know why it's at 10.
So while we ended the show, put your rating in there, 0 to 5 mics. Actually, 5 being the best, obviously, 0 being the worst. Give us your thoughts.
I'm giving it the most goodest.
The most goodest ever.
Goody.
All right, what we got coming up on Queen 3 and King tomorrow, dog?
Queen 3 and King. We're gonna have a fun show tomorrow. We've been dealing with some heavy topics over the last few weeks, so we're gonna lighten it up tomorrow and talk about some scenarios. So the topic is would you rather? And what got me on this topic was somebody actually posted something on Facebook and they said, would you rather your camera roll or your text messages be made public? And I didn't know which one because either one. She's
gonna be mad. She keeps struggling to the left.
Y'all might as well go and see my camera roll because y'all already know I'm a freak.
Yeah.
All right.
Text message.
Right. No, I don't want them to be seen.
I don't want you looking at my pictures, Jack. I don't want God looking at the pictures in my pictures. I pray every time I open. Oh.
Yeah.
I'll let that phone connect to Bluetooth.
Like Mike Pence, please don't make these pictures.
Yeah. Don't let these buttholes
please don't let these
man.
Please don't let these buttholes look
like no comment.
Hey, even Mike Pence had to look at that like that's pretty funny.
Right.
I don't want to keep tasting these dicks, Lord. Please.
Wow.
Please, Lord.
Wow.
Hey, we're going in. We're going all in, right?
Hey, we're going all in. That's what he said.
We're going to put all our pictures behind Mayhem and be like on Fat Out.
Dang, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is it.
Yeah. 18-wheeler, baby, coming right through.
H-Rap.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I got to marry the things. Trauma porn. Why do we watch it? And trauma porn, for those who don't know, is us getting our ass kicked on videos and they go viral.
Right.
Another piece of trauma porn that was totally disappointing. A sister was raped. I think it was a woman. I don't know if it's a black lady or not, but a woman was raped on a public train in Philadelphia for 20 stops. and people filmed it.
What?
When you're not gonna just like group up and just dismantle that situation.
The video of the kid that you shared, A-Trap, the kid just getting whooped. No, everybody just taking what happened to just jumping in?
Yeah,
and breaking it up or
right.
taking some licks or something.
Right. Yeah, it's the thing to get it on TV and get it on the local news and get the film out there.
If it bleeds, it leads.
That's right.
Right.
Another thing, we trying to get rid of double X chromosome people. Those are women. Who's educating our kids?
That's
critical race theory is a big conversation, especially down there where you are.
It's most definitely is.
It's huge.
Critical race theory and critical race teaching. Ignorance, our ignorance.
Be still. You breaking up on us.
Oh man, can't man. I'm about to cry.
There we go.
talking about critical race theory.
You tighten the fall up around the antenna over there, man.
Hey man, I sit still. Y'all gonna see me cry. But just those things, man. Let's just talk about our community tomorrow, and Mary Garland, build better, build back better. We need to focus on build back better. Well, I got everybody listening. Download the 5Call apps, please. 5 calls. It allows you to connect yourself to 5 politicians in your state.
Is that the app that was on the Black Eagle a few years ago?
Yeah, it's still in effect.
It's still in effect.
You can connect to your mayor, your state rep, your state senator, your governor, and your alderman if you like.
Yeah.
And we need to be calling this because this build back better covers unless everybody listens to our programs, our millionaires, these things concern you. Medicare, adding vision and dental. You got older people that's gonna have to make the decision: do I get new teeth in my mouth, or do I buy food that I need to eat with those new teeth?
Right.
Child care, after school programs. So, and they keep saying it's $2 trillion, but it's over 10 years.
Right.
Yeah.
And don't fall for the propaganda. That way we won't have to always fall for the propaganda. In 2032, Social Security gonna be bankrupt, and then you getting everybody a raise next year.
Right.
So would that take it down to 2030?
Right.
Well,
or are you giving transgenders Social Security?
Right.
Whatever.
Let it go, man.
And on that note,
Wilkes, let me kick it to you real quick. You post some chef clips on your Facebook. Real quick.
Yeah,
brownies, man. Did you make them brownies?
I made those brownies. My daughter.
A-Trap, before you got on backstage, A-Trap said you and Ben was spotted eating them in the car together. Y'all split it in half. And he said for some reason y'all eyes was closed when y'all was eating brownies.
Wow. Yeah, man. So that ain't real blood, it's beef juice. But anyway, my daughter had asked for some brownies a while back, and the ingredients that I had, they were just kind of sitting there. So I decided to make the dessert before the dinner, which was chicken parmesan last night, because my wife brought it up. And I haven't made chicken parmesan in years. It's probably been about 3 years since I've made chicken parm. But the brownies were good. They turned out great. Got a few more downstairs, but yeah, my daughter was excited about the brownies. She was pretty happy about those when they got there.
Was too, from what I heard.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah, good stuff.
Michael from Red Cab, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will be back next week. Not sure what the show will be about, but you will know because it'll be posted.
We'll find out.
And A-Trap will kick it to you.
Y'all know I want to thank everybody for tuning in. As I do, salute Reggie O'Shea and Craig Smith. Reggie O'Shea by saying, dream your dreams and man up and woman up and live your dreams, because life with dreams flows in black and white. Life without dreams flows in life without dreams flows in black and white. Life with dreams flows in technicolor surround sound. And y'all already know, if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God.
Yes.
Peace.
Peace.